friends. In this video I'm going to show you the one collecting trip that I went on this spring and whether or not that tree survived, of course. Still trying to get to 4 or 5 videos by the end of the season, so let's get to it. Hope you enjoy. It's back on the road for another collecting trip here in 2022. I thought I was going to take this year off, but it's an itch I just got to scratch. I've got a buddy with some property behind his house that has some forest, and I noticed last fall he's got some beautiful big mature American elms. Now, American elm, as you know, heavily affected by Dutch elm disease, but these apparently have not been. And as a result, that forest is just littered with sort of mid-size, very suitable for collection size American elms. So I want to grab one. I think it's a species that's a little bit underutilized. So I'm appreciative of Mike, my buddy, letting me come out today and dig up a tree. Really excited for the few that I did flag, and I'm going to show you the process, at least to some extent, the digging out, and of course the trunk chop. It's going to be similar to the hornbeam and beech that I grabbed last year. We've got to make that trunk chop, and then we're going to regrow an apex long-term on the tree. So yeah, play-by-play to some extent, show you it potted up and hopefully budding out as well. Appreciate you guys always joining for the ride. It should be interesting, and I'm excited to get started.
Hopefully a waterproof GoPro.
Well, the rain's starting to come down, so that's not good, but American elm here. This little guy got some interesting movement here, and we're gonna take this one. Hard to tell here, but it has a pretty interesting root spread that extends out to the right here and the left here, so I think it's a good candidate. And Mike and Renee are kind enough to let me dig up this tree as the rain really starts to come down, so it might get interesting. Rain stopped. Feeling pretty good about this one. Really cool movement. Got it pretty shallowed out. Not really a big taproot underneath there, which was good news. And a lot of fine feeder roots from what I can tell. Let's get this one bagged and tagged and then get it potted up as soon as possible. Looking good. Let's get it home. And of course, refill the hole. Oh yeah, super psyched. American elm rocking it, man. Really cool taper, really cool root system. Very, very happy with this. I went ahead and gave this a bath and a soak and sprayed off some of the native soil, did some chop sticking as well. In my experience, not an issue with deciduous to remove a lot of that native soil. I'll try and show you what I can here. It's really, really looking great. Almost all spots except for this section around the trunk has really nice fine feeder roots. So you can see on the bottom I did have to edit this one. That was really the only one that was coming downward. Other than that, yeah, I dug it out somewhat shallow, but this came out really, really clean and with a shallowed out root plane already. I am going to eliminate any crossing roots that may exist right now and take back some of the roots, the larger ones, to areas where they have feeder roots, but where I can reduce them. And then I'm going to put this into an Anderson flat. I doubt that we'll use the entirety of this trunk, but I wanted to leave some room for dieback. It does have interesting movement throughout though, and I'm just really excited to get this one out of the ground because I think it's going to be fantastic, assuming it survives. It's always satisfying to see a tree that you dug out of the ground survive, so that you know that you're going to be extending its life and not terminating it. Really good root system, not surprised that it responded the way that it did. That's always helpful when you get a nice healthy root system with fine roots, and got lucky on the fact that it's a pretty radial circular nabari and a great foundation to build this tree off of. It's got decent taper. There are a few spots that we'll have to encourage, but the spirit of this tree is a nice tall stately tree, right, in a forest. So I like the height to width of the trunk ratio here. I got branches to pop in 2 different spots with multiple branches, put on a ton of foliage this year. I actually had one other spot over on the right hand side, a node over here where a shoot came out, but a squirrel of course snapped it off. But still really happy. I've got options. These are nice and wispy, so I can do grafting next year into certain spots that I need branches on this trunk. I'll probably be reducing it next year down to about the width of my hand there. This is where the first of the branches starts, so that's going to die back naturally. Might as well do that sooner rather than later, so I'll probably clean that up next spring. The bark itself on the trunk is just gorgeous. It's still got this lichen here that's growing nice and green on one side, and it's kind of flaky, almost in little plates. But as I was looking at this tree throughout the growing season, I am now convinced that it is not an American elm. I think that it is a Ostroia virginiana, I think is the Latin name, or Eastern hop-hornbeam. Really cool tree that's native to Michigan and the Midwest and Great Lakes region in general. And it's a tree that's pretty solid for bonsai, good reduction of leaves, and has hop-looking flowers, which are apparently quite beautiful. So hopefully I get some flowers on this one in the future. If I'm right, I'll observe for another year or two and try and nail down, is this really a hop-hornbeam? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Another collection video in the books. Definitely more to come, so like and subscribe if you like what you saw. I'm gonna try and do at least one collection video every year. I think that's a decent goal. And yeah, hoping to get to 4 or 5 videos, as I mentioned, so that would mean 1 or 2 more from me. So keep your eyes out the rest of the fall, and we'll talk to you very soon. Cheers, everybody.